see it then. We can say, oh, that's not supposed to be there. So these proteins that the VAR genes code for are under enormous immune selection. As a result, the parasite has figured out how to recombine them. So it shuffles the VAR gene sequences every time it reproduces. And this creates a lot of entropy, a lot of noise in the structure, and that makes it harder for the immune system to find. So the question is, can we find constraints on the VAR gene recombination? So what's the network here? Well, there are genes. Recombination is when two genes exchange information, which exchange structural information, swap substrings. So that means that we have a network. The vertices are the genes, and the edges represent recombination or shared genetic information. And our question is, can we find constraints on the way these things recombine? If those constraints exist, that implies that there are functional things that this protein is trying to do that we might be able to design a vaccine to target. So this is an application that has, pretty good broader impacts. OK, so here's a hypothesis. The hypothesis is a bipartite network hypothesis. So we're going to say that we have two genes, two types of vertices. Vertex A is a VAR gene, and then vertex B is some k-mer. That's just some substring. So here are three examples of genes, and I've highlighted shared substrings. So this green block here is present in the top and the bottom. The magenta block is present in the top and the middle. This gray block is present in all three, and the blue block is present in the bottom two. That corresponds to this little bipartite network, in which these k-mers, these substrings, are present in these genes here. So now what we want to do is we want to understand whether or not there is large-scale structure in this network. Of course, the problem is that this is bipartite data, and we want to understand structure here, but there's no edges among those genes. The edges only go over here. But that's OK. Turns out that the stochastic block model could handle that kind of structure quite nicely. So to step back for a moment and think about sort of the